What's up, CrossFitters? Coach Justin here, the WOD nutritionist. Here at CBG, we help you lose body fat, build muscle, and crush your WODs without tracking macros. If you find my videos valuable, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below if you haven't already, so you can get more great content just like this, where I come out with videos weekly for you guys and for free to reach your goals. Today's topic is going to be somewhat controversial, but it's around a particular body composition that I would say is not personally desirable for myself, and I've heard many other CrossFitters say it's not desirable for them. And that term is the term skinny fat. The term skinny fat is a body composition term used to describe someone that has a particular body weight that's in a healthy range, but they don't actually look like they work out. Today, I'm gonna go through the science of why some people are skinny fat, what we can do about it so that we can actually change our overall composition to look more like we actually CrossFit. Now, admittedly, some people don't have this issue. Some people are higher body fat percentages and just need to focus on losing weight. Others are skinny fat, and others are just trying to achieve body recomposition and are already in a pretty good place with their overall look and aesthetic. And then alternatively, we have people that are not focused on aesthetics at all and want to focus instead on performance. So everybody's goals are different. So if you're someone who would describe themselves as skinny fat, this video is for you, and I'm gonna teach you more about that in the next 5 to 10 minutes so that you can start implementing these things into your life to not feel skinny fat and actually feel confident in your body. So when it comes to being skinny fat, there are 3 main metrics that we need to look at first if we're going to determine what someone's body composition actually is. And those 3 metrics, number 1 is BMI. Your BMI is your body mass index. Now, a lot of people use these markers in the military and your doctors to determine if you're overweight. Now, BMI is not a great indicator of overall body composition, as someone can have a total weight of 215 pounds but be very lean and jacked. This is an example for a lot of CrossFit athletes that we know and aspire to be more like, improving on performance and actually look like they CrossFit. However, their BMI is off the charts. This is one way to define body composition. Now, alternatively, we have your lean body mass. Your lean body mass is the total amount of muscle that you have on your body. Lean body mass dictates what the total amount of mass is over the entire anatomy of your body, and can also give us a good indication of what it is you actually look like, especially when it comes to body composition. Lastly, we have body fat percentage. Our body fat percentage is, you guessed it, how much body fat we actually have on our body distributed throughout our entire anatomy. Right? Now, a side note, all of us can have different types of anatomy based on our bone structure, and also we can have different types of anatomy based off of where we hold body fat or where we build muscle mass, okay? Now, one thing to note based off of this, everybody being different based on their hormones and their genetics, we cannot spot reduce body fat. So, for a lot of people, they hold body fat in their gut. Especially men, this is where we mostly hold our body fat. We cannot spot reduce that body fat in our midsection. However, we can overall focus on losing body fat to get to a place where we're more comfortable with our body. And of course, fat will be lost in that midsection area over time. But we can spot enhance muscle mass, which is pretty sick. You're able to focus on particular muscle groups and eat enough and do the right things with your nutrition as well as your fitness to be able to actually build muscle in specific places. So for example, let's say you're really struggling to build your shoulder muscles, your deltoids. What you can do is you can actually find progressive programs that help you build your shoulder muscles over time, making sure you're hitting those shoulder groups at all angles. CrossFit obviously is very shoulder intensive, as well as focus on the right nutritional protocols to build your shoulder muscles specifically while not building muscle mass in other areas. So that's pretty dope. Now, when it comes to being skinny fat, their BMI or body mass index is usually good. They're within a range where their total body weight versus their neck circumference and their total BMI is in a healthy range. However, they don't look like they work out. They don't look like they CrossFit. That's where we have to look at the other 2 metrics. Somebody that is skinny fat has a decent or an appropriate amount of body fat. It's not way off the charts. It's not super low. It's kind of somewhere ranging in the middle. Now, where they fall short is their lean body mass. They don't have enough muscle. And this is why people look skinny fat. So a lot of people think that when you look skinny fat, you need to focus on doing more cardio, you need to focus on actually eating less so that you can lose body fat, when in actuality, you need to do the opposite. It's not that you have too much body fat, it's that you have too little muscle. You're under-muscled, right? Not overly overweight or have a higher body fat percentage. Now that we know that we have not enough muscle mass, we need to understand what we need to do about this in order to make sure that we can start improving our body composition, not feel skinny fat, and actually feel confident in our body. And so in order to understand that, we've gone over a little bit of the anatomy, but we need to understand it fully as to why someone would look like they don't work out even though their body fat percentage and their BMI is in a good range. The way the anatomy works is that muscle is actually put directly onto the skeletal system. Now, that muscle mass can't show if there's a layer of body fat over it. In the case of people that are overweight, the reason that they don't look like they CrossFit is because they have an overwhelming amount of body fat over the muscle that they have. So this is why it's not possible to look more like we CrossFit if we have too much or high of a body fat percentage. However, with people that are skinny fat, it's not that they have too big of a layer of fat over their muscle mass, it's they don't have enough muscle mass to begin with. And so therefore they need to focus instead not on losing body fat, but on building muscle. And so we can spot enhance muscle mass, but now we need to know how to develop actual muscles. Because if we don't know how to do that, we can't prevent ourselves from being more skinny fat or not looking like we CrossFit and actually progressing in the ways that we want. There are two main things that I say for people that are skinny fat that you should start focusing on if you want to progress in the right direction and look more like you CrossFit. Number one is strength training. Strength training is gonna be the most important component for you actually building muscle mass. It has to be progressive. Your program cannot be random. It needs to be something that allows for you to actually give your body a reason to change. And that's where progressive overload comes in. The problem with this for CrossFitters is that usually at your CrossFit box, we don't have enough strength training. Without a lack of strength training and just doing Metcons all the time, you're not really going to build enough muscle mass to not look skinny fat anymore. And so what we need to do is we don't need to quit CrossFit, but we do need to incorporate more strength training on top of the CrossFit and 4 to 5 WODs per week that we're doing. So what I recommend for you, find a muscle building program with progressive overload for all the different body parts that you need. A hypertrophy program that allows for you to lift more weights over time, or higher reps, or higher sets, or bigger range of motion, or drop sets, or supersets. Something that allows for your body to progress over time. If you want our free strength training program for CrossFitters, go ahead, DM me the word strength on Instagram, and I'll be able to send you a sample of what this might look like so you can incorporate it into your actual weekly routine. Now that we have the strength program ironed out, you can do all the strength training in the world and you can rip those muscles, but they need to be recovered, repaired, and through protein muscle synthesis, you're able to build more muscle. You can't do this without focusing with some intention on what you're eating and the nutrition side. So both of these need to be coupled together for optimal results. What do we do on the nutrition side to actually start looking like we CrossFit and building muscle? Well, there are two things. Number one, we can't be at a calorie deficit. It's really, really hard to build muscle at a calorie deficit. We need to be at maintenance or above maintenance. And what I usually do is for clients that we work with here at CBG that want to build muscle, we get their TDEE, or their total daily energy expenditure, and we increase that TDEE by 10%. Your TDEE is the amount of calories you burn in a day based on your CrossFit workouts, based on your overall activity level. We need to be slightly above that. So if you want our free AI blueprint that is going to give you the exact calories that you need throughout a day to build muscle, also the exact macros, protein, carbs, and fat that you need to build muscle, and you want it built out into a blueprint based on your lifestyle of when you need to eat, how much, and what foods to incorporate, go on Instagram and DM me the word AI blueprint, and we will send this blueprint to you absolutely free. That way, you have something to actually follow on the nutrition side and not guessing at how to get results. Another most important thing when it comes to being able to build muscle over time so you don't look skinny fat is incorporating the right calories based on the breakdown of macronutrients. right? For people building muscle, the most important macro for CrossFitters is protein. And so you need to focus on hitting your body weight in protein daily. For some people here at CBG, we won't recommend hitting their body weight in protein because for someone that, let's say, is at a higher body fat percentage, let's say 250 pounds, it's really hard for them to get 250 grams of protein in per day. However, remember, people that are skinny fat are usually at a lower body weight. Being at a lower body weight gives more potential to hit your body weight in protein per day in grams. That way you're getting the right amount of protein to recover from your workouts, recover from your strength training, and actually look like you CrossFit. So I recommend people that are skinny fat to be closer to the 1 gram per pound of body weight as opposed to the lower end range of 0.7 to 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. So protein, very, very important part of the consumption of those calories you need based on your total daily energy expenditure, which should be at the level of calories you're eating or 10% above, right? So that is how you're not skinny fat anymore. You have to build muscle. Don't focus on cardio. Don't focus on eating less. Instead, focus on strength training and focus on eating enough protein and enough calories to support the training that you're doing. I hope this video was helpful for you guys around what the anatomy around being skinny fat is, why that's preventing you from actually looking like you CrossFit, and then what you need to do instead if you want to make this change and feel more confident in yourself. Now, if you want to work with me or my team, we usually only have very few qualifying spots available for our program where we guarantee the results, you're never going to track macros, and you're going to actually start looking like you CrossFit. Finally. So if you want to book a call with my team, go ahead. There's a link in the show notes below. You can go ahead and click that here on YouTube or on the podcast, and you will find a link where we can chat and go over more details. If you have any more questions, feel free to shoot them out on Instagram or email us at consistencybreedsgrowth@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys on the next one.